Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Today we are doing something a little different. We are taking a video that I previously recorded with some nail art from one of my favorite Maniology plates and showing how I did the look. So if you enjoy these types of videos, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an upload. And we are going to jump right in with Prepped Fingers and Zoya's Arbor. Now, I absolutely love this green. I know it's a very fall-ish color, and the plate is Maniology M, sorry, I can't even see it right now, M217. And I bought that plate simply because of the blobs and the different designs and like the very unfinished type of nail art. So we're taking another quick look at Zoya Arbor, which I interestingly enough purchased because of Carolina from Gotta Love Polish recommended it. Zoya was having a sale and I was overwhelmed with choices, but I wanted a beautiful green. So I contacted her on Instagram and said, please help, let me know what color I should pick. And she recommended Arbor, and it has been nothing but love ever since. So I did kind of consider doing a negative space nail art, but I wanted to show how easy it is to just add a few teeny little touches to a classic Mani, all one color, all one polish, and change it into something new and different. And it just barely takes any time. I mean, that is if you're good at stamping. And I am going to have to go back, put a little polish there. And we are going in with the Mani mask from Maniology. My code will be down below for you to save 10% off of any non-subscription purchases. I do make a commission off of that because it allows me to finance my nail polish and nail art obsession and share what I buy with you guys. So I am applying that very carefully around my cuticle as close as I can get without touching my nail polish because I don't want to ruin the mani. Again, that is Maniology plate M217 with all of these lovely, very artistic designs. And they actually have like the blobs too. So I wanted one metallic color and I chose chamomile because it seemed to show up pretty good over dark colors and looked pretty opaque. I liked, again, the blobs on this plate because I don't have to worry about it being uneven. I don't have to worry about having raised nail polish or bubbles or anything on my nail. I just paint, scrape, and stamp. And it's that easy to have a perfect blob on my nail. And the nail polish I'm using from Maniology is super opaque, so it just works really well. So we are following a very natural flow here. Pick a blob, paint it, scrape it, stamp it. And I am using a lint roller to remove any excess designs around the blob because I just want the blob, just it. And this is a plate that is super packed with designs. You've got leaves, you've got grids. Oh, and this is coconut, the polish that I'm using for this color. It's a warm off-white, but it's not beige and it's not like bold, cold white either. So I really enjoy using it in nail art, especially in the fall and in the spring. In the summer, I tend to lean towards Frozen because Frozen is a cooler white and it's metallic, so it's super fancy. And I am still adding on another grid. I actually had intended to keep the blob similar, the grid the same, and then the one line art to be different. So I'm adding in the grid, and then I will pick out my one line arts, and I'm using Maniology's Dusk as my darker color. I felt like Arbor could be my medium color, Coconut could be my pale contrast, and then Dusk makes a great dark contrast, and then have an accent of a metallic, which is chamomile. That was the vision, that was the plan. So I am again removing the excess with the lint brush because I hadn't learned yet that you can actually remove any excess with the little scraper card if you do it quickly enough. So I'm not actually that pleased with how the one line art came out on that first nail, but we'll see what happens as this video progresses. Now I'm adding on my second design, and I'm so tempted to just stamp a whole bunch of stuff because Dusk did such a good job of being fully opaque, and it picked up so well. I just really fell in love with how all of the images came out, and I was tempted to go ahead and add them all on, but I'm trying to keep it simple and concise. So now I am cleaning up my plate because I don't like to leave the nail polish on there. It's okay if it has some smears, but I don't want to leave the nail polish on there. I find it a lot harder to clean it afterwards. So I'm checking my nail, looking, and I see that not all of the one line design made it onto my ring finger. And I'm like, you know what? I can salvage this. If I just scrape off this part here and scrape off that part there, and for whatever reason my nail was not having it, that design was completely affixed or adhered to my nail. And sorry, phones go off only when I'm doing voiceovers, so I apologize for the background noise. But here I am still trying to scrape it, still trying to salvage it because a little did come off. And I'm like, if I could just scrape off the face part, I could just leave the flower on there and it would still look cool. And it wasn't enough. I felt like if I scraped much more, I was going to dig into that beautiful blob, and I totally did a little. And then I started rubbing off the flower, and I was just like, you know what? This is going from bad to worse, and my nail actually scraped into the blob at the last moment. So we are doing a take two. I have reapplied Arbor on the nail, and yes, I did remove all the nail polish because I didn't want it to be bulky. And we're gonna try again with a whole different design. I thought this one was very nice in the fact that I should be able to reverse stamp on it. So I am going to use high contrast colors for the reverse stamp. You've seen this before in some nail art videos where the person stamps with white and then they color in black, or they stamp with black and color in with white, but I didn't want it to be that bold of a contrast. I still wanted it to fall within the theme. So I am doing reverse stamping with Dusk, and I stamped it with Coconut. And I'm using a brush just because I've had some in the past. When I first started reverse stamping, I had a couple mishaps with the dotting tools where I was placing the paint in the design and it actually pulled up the design that I had on the stamp. So now I strictly try to stick to brushes, and I try to get it as close as I can to inside the lines. I probably should have tried to find a much smaller brush, especially for applying any type of reverse stamping in those teeny tiny leaves, but I also felt like it would be okay even if it didn't stay inside the lines because it's such an imperfect design. Like, we're doing the big grid right now, and as you can see, the big grid is not perfectly straight lines. And also, you can see that stamped horribly. So, take two. I'm gonna go ahead and clean it off and try this again. But I am making sure that there's no lint left behind and that it is dry before I apply the polish again. So here we go. Take two of take two for the ring fingernail. I'm not frustrated yet because I really like how these polishes are picking up. They're just super opaque. They look very nice on the nail. And this isn't a pale color that I'm stamping over. So that makes me really excited. Plus, we are nearing the end of the video. So I did my reverse stamping, and now I'm going to put the sticky base coat on my nail so that it will encourage this design to completely transfer to the nail. And if I do say so myself, it turned out really well. I enjoyed this design so much. If you've enjoyed this video, leave me a like and let me know down in the comments what spring colors you would bring into this palette to update it for the season. And if you're a part of my nail fam, I'm sending out virtual hugs. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you all so much. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, take care of yourselves and each other.